Hello everyone. It's James again. And today, I want to talk about the false narratives that have been going on in our world, or our society for a long time. And why it's important we talk about what the truth really is. Because there's an old saying. If you repeat a lie long enough, everyone will start to believe it. Well, right now, you probably are seeing a lot of things happening in the world. Lots of changes in how we interact with one another. And some people coming out and getting help for being harmed. And others piling on for social and political gain. Which is going to do one thing for you. It's going to further widen the gap between you and how you deal with others. Here's the facts. Narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths have been behind the wizard's curtain for a long time. Pulling the puppet strings. Getting people to do as they wish. Through suggestion. Brainwashing. And some would say, witchcraft. And if you don't believe in that, that's okay. But at least you would be able to see the suggestion and brainwashing side of things. For a long time we've lived in a world where if the man or woman on the television said this or that, it must be true. Hey James. The man on the television said. Hey James, the woman on the television said. And people filed in line to jump right into the meat grinder. Those that are behind the curtain and that control how this world is run. Know psychology really well. And they know. If they can make you feel less than. Because everyone is doing what's trendy. And you're not. This shaming for not doing such a thing will eventually get to you. And finally everyone will fall into line. It's all a scam. Remember, narcissists and other cluster B types love to try to infect innocent people with their evil. And watch good people fall off of their path and head down the hallway of darkness. And they do this through trickery and brainwashing. And I believe witchcraft. No matter if you believe it or not. But it's all surrounded by false narratives. Just like the narcissist in our life. No matter it be a mother, or father, or both, or brother or sister, or friend, or person you were dating or married to. These evil narcissists would rely heavily on false narratives. And feeling if they repeated carefully placed lies over and over about you. Eventually these lies would stick. And everyone you knew would start to believe them. Despite what the truth really was. This is why communities, such as the narcissistic abuse community, is so important. It's because we are giving people another way to think and how to discern evil. What I want you to consider for a moment. Do you think the people that pretend to run this earth care about you? Or do you realize there are people, if you can call them that have the real big bucks and power? That pull these evildoers' chain when they want something done. Such as lie to you, the public. And they come out and pretend they care about you. And they come out to so-called help. And do this and that. And say this and that. Now granted, I'm sure there are some people in such positions that get there by accident. That have a good spirit, that are fighting an uphill battle against all the evil they are surrounded by. But the vast majority of these types say what they have to say to lull you to sleep. They don't talk just to hear themselves talk. And they don't pretend to help you for their health. Everything they say and do, just like the narcissist in your life, has a long-term goal. And it's all to write this false narrative. And to create this universe where everything is the reality they have created. And in that reality, you, the scapegoat, is the bad guy or bad girl. Now, do I think going toe-to-toe with your narcissist is a good idea? No. That's like rolling around with pigs in the mud. And it solves nothing. However, speaking up and out about the warped mind of the narcissist, and how they do what they do, and what their long-term goals are, and what will happen over time. Those that have eyes to see and ears to hear will start to see patterns. Look. I can notice almost identical patterns between how these evil people run things and are narcissists. Everything starts to become so clear. And it's clear because I understand their spin. I understand their false narrative. Dealing with my mother. And Susie. And some others. Along with hearing others' stories. Taught me all I need to know about how these monsters think. They are always planning. They are planning. And right now, you are hearing a lot about how this man did this. And this man did that. All over the media. But you never hear about women doing the exact same things. Let me let you in on a little secret. Women can be and are just as bad as men in this regard. When women are frank and honest about things, they will tell men. You don't want to hear the vulgar things women talk about amongst themselves. They sound just like men. And at times worse. Limo drivers and club owners will say. When women have their women-only parties, they are more hard to deal with and out of control than men. Now I still think men and women are just as bad as one another. But this is coming out of the mouths of those that deal with such women every single weekend. Right before they are about ready to get married to a man they are more than likely going to be divorcing. They go out to treat men like meat. And use them for drinks. And talk and behave just like what they say is wrong for men to do. But what happens with what's going on and the false narrative that is being written? Despite if this person is really guilty and that person is really innocent. It's going to further the narrative that all men are horrible. All men. And because no one is standing up and saying me too. That they were abused by a woman. Or they were lied about and lost their freedom because of a woman. Or they were taken advantage of by a woman. Believe it or not, it can and does happen. Even in the corporate world. And parents of children that were taken advantage of by their woman teacher. Because this issue won't be addressed. It's going to further the wide gap between healthy relationships between men and women. Don't you get it? Those behind the curtain don't want you to have good relationships. Because that means good children. And that means those that run this earth, aren't controlling them. Look, they already did it with tricking mothers out of the home. With the promise of excitement and a fun life. With the end result of falling into a trap of needing two people to support a home. While daycare raises your children. The false narrative, remember? They repeated that lie over and over and over and over. Along with using shame, and you fell for it. And they are doing it again. Just like the narcissist in your life. Baby steps. A little lie here. And a little lie there. And before you know it, you're stuck in this false reality. This is like what I've talked about before. They don't want to talk about mistreatment, abuse, and narcissistic abuse on equal footing. They don't want us to stand up and say, hey, men and women are abused exactly the same. And because all of the lies that have been told, men aren't getting any help. And getting hurt badly as a result. The powers that be don't want women to say, wait a minute. There are good men we are missing out on because of this mess. Put a stop to stealing their money. And destroying their lives. Let's make things fair so we can stop this nonsense and get back to having good families. They don't want that. So they constantly feed you a steady diet of a false narrative. Look at how many decades men have been getting destroyed in family court. To the point where those that work in the court system openly admit they see injustices every day. But no one is starting a campaign to bring awareness to this problem to fix it. Well, maybe it's because those behind the curtain created this problem to destroy men and women. Good men and women's chances for them to find each other. And stay together once they found each other. Because they wanted to make sure you had little to no chance to produce good, thoughtful, moralful, strong and character, decent. And if you are a believer, God-fearing children, you men and women need to wake up and smell the coffee. These devils that control the world we live in. They use the same playbook your narcissist parent or parents used. Or your narcissist ex used. You know how we talk about. How is it all of these stories of ours that are worldwide sound alike? And it's like they are using the same playbook. Well, I have news for you. They are. And those that are running this world are using the same darn playbook as well. So what's the solution? Speak the truth. Speak the truth. And you know, here's the thing. There's different types of men that are in men's rights. And also migto. And some that are just their own men. Some that are just spewing negativity. I get it. And it doesn't help anyone. But there are a great many that speak facts. They've been run through the ringer and they have experience. And they aren't coming from a place of hate. They are coming from a place of wanting to make a change. And those are the men that still dialogue and talk with women. Though they still might be skeptical of some women that speak up for what's right. And their motives for doing so. I mean, who can blame them? But they also welcome others. Dr. Helen Smith, who wrote a book, Men on Strike. When asked by reporters, how come a man didn't write this book? And she often replies, because a man can't. Because if a man speaks out, he gets slammed down. Well, women, I'm telling you, from my little cartoon heart, now is the time to move. Now is the time to speak out. Make a video. Write a blog. Do a podcast. Say you've had enough of having good men ripped from you. Apologize for believing the hype train. And fight to rewrite the narrative of the truth. The ugly truth. Because things won't get better until we deal with the ugliness. And that's both men and women harm each other. That's right. We do. And tell the world you're done and over with being able to be looked at as a saint just because you're a woman. Because you know firsthand there are women out there committing the same crimes and out there lying and manipulating people just like men are. And this is not the world you want your sons and daughters to inherit. And if you are a believer, pray. Pray, pray. Ladies. Those of you that are believers. God made you to be man's helpmate. And man was commanded to love his woman. Well, right now, the man doesn't trust his woman with all that is going on in this world. And if it keeps on going on, the average man will be scared to death to be in a room alone with you. I'm just speaking the facts here. But to all of you ladies of faith, remember what you were created for. That's a special job. A special job. And I have news for you. It's time you jumped into that special role and help the men that are good out there. And speak the truth. And speak it over and over and over and over and over and over. Rewrite the narrative to the truth. And men, if you have a good woman, love her. And know she is rare as a ruby. Because we are all in this together.